You're listening to Up the Turnpike with hosts Mitch Anderson and Matt O'Leary.
Hello and welcome to NHL Free Agency Frenzy. What is going on? Matt O'Leary and Mitch Anderson hanging out with you for just that, NHL Free Agency Frenzy. Mitch, what are your thoughts?
I have so much FOMO. It's 12:03. I've been feeling, I had the feeling of missing out for the last hour. Just seeing my phone, Elliot Friedman, just buzz, updates constantly. And then I've got Andrew Gross, the only one I get updates from live. And it's like, so the Islanders open their schedule October 10th. Like, yep.
I was going to say, I have a breaking news sounder that I use during my Jets free agency stream. So I'll hit it. It's from SpongeBob. I know how much SpongeBob you watch.
I love it.
Breaking news. So we do get the breaking news from the official Islanders account. 10-10-24. That's the news. While that's exciting, I'm sure that's not what everyone was hoping for. And Alan chimes in and says, Caps absolutely fleeced the Sens. Is Lou awake? We'll pull that one up too as well, because that was really not as much as what we thought it was going to be. I have to scroll back pretty far because apparently at the top of the hour, every NHL insider just dropped all the contracts at one time. But here we go. Here's the details that Alan was talking about in the chat. Washington Capitals have acquired defenseman Jacob Chychrun from the Ottawa Senators in exchange for defenseman Nick Jensen and a 2026 third-round pick. That is not what now, granted, this is not the same Jacob Chychrun from a few years ago when the trade market for him was absolutely bonkers of what, was originally the proposed package. But this is essentially nothing, Mitch.
It's really nothing. It really is. And I know this wasn't necessarily a guy that we were targeting. And so the FOMO I'm feeling isn't like, oh, I wish we could have had Jacob Chychrun, because we could have matched that, I would imagine, quite easily. It's just that things are happening. Washington is clearly like retooling on the fly quite well, I'm going to say. Like, I was skeptical for the first couple of moves, but as more and more moves come in, you're like, holy shit, they're doing the goddamn thing there in Washington. Like, they are aggressively pushing this retool. They were embarrassed by missing the playoffs last year, and they will not allow it to happen.
Well, they made it.
Sorry, that's right. They did make it. And
barely, but they made it.
Games. They were there for a hot second. I was thinking the Pittsburgh Penguins. They barely made it. They got embarrassed by the Rangers in 4 games, and now they're trying to retool on the fly and doing pretty well. Like, they get Chychrun for chiclets, really. A box of chiclets is what they sent. Well, no disrespect to Nick Jensen. He's a good right-handed defenseman. Ottawa could use that. But a third in 2026? What are we talking about? Ottawa sent, a first, a plus to get him from Arizona, and now they had him for a year and a half, and they sent him for peanuts. Youch.
Okay, this one's interesting that we just got that came through, but we'll pull up now from Darren Dreger. Oliver Ekman Larson, 4 years at $3.5 million to go to Toronto. That kind of feels like a lot for OEL at this point in his career. Agree or disagree with that?
It's a bit, but he had a good time in Florida. He is the type of puck mover that Toronto wants. So it makes sense. 4 years is long, I think. But they clearly want, they probably had to overpay a little bit because it is Toronto in terms of years. The cap isn't so high. But again, we're talking about things that aren't involved with the Islanders. The Islanders aren't anywhere near on any of these players, it seems. And again, it's not to say like, oh, we needed OEL. Oh, we needed Jacob Chychrun. We're clearly looking for upgrades. We were looking for upgrades on the draft. Didn't see that. Good draft class, but we didn't see any sort of movement with the draft picks. And now we're not seeing any sort of movement in terms of free agency. Now, maybe Lou is waiting to strike at the right time. It's reaffirming that lifelong kind of Islanders feeling of FOMO that we just seem to have every goddamn year. It's early. It's only 12:07, but already I'm mad.
Hit the panic button. It's over. It's over for the New York Islanders. Okay, we got another one that'll pop up. We got to keep hitting them.
Breaking news!
None of these Islanders related, by the way. Frank Saravalli tweets out that Jake Bean heading home, looks like a 2-year deal, just under $2 million to the Flames. I know that's someone, a name that you brought up on the pod yesterday.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's not that I don't want Mike Riley. It's if there's an upgrade available, I think Jake Bean could be one of those guys. This is a guy who is only 26 years old, is only going to get better, had that really good pedigree. I'm pretty sure he's a 13th overall pick. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure he's a first round pick here. That could have gone well instead of having to settle for Mike Riley. And I know I'm saying settle with air quotes. That's not me crapping on Mike Riley. Mike Riley is a good player, and if we sign him, I will be happy. It's if you can get an upgrade on him or anyone else on the roster, I would also be equally happy.
No, absolutely.
What about this from JJ McNeil saying the Isles need Jake DeBrusk? This is something that has been brought up before on the Patreon itself. I'm pretty sure. Oh, who was it that brought up Jake DeBrusk on the podcast on the Patreon? I'm sorry if I forget your name, whoever it was. I feel like it was Jake, but
it very well could have been. I don't remember off the top of my head. But for those who maybe don't know, Jake DeBrusk, 27 years old, will turn 28 in October 17th. So a week after the Islanders start their season here. Is coming off a 40-point season, 19 goals, 21 assists. Why don't I pull up this tab? Let's do that. Here's a look at his numbers. His best season was a 50-point year in 22-23, where he only played 64 games and still scored 27 goals. He's someone who usually hung out on the second line for the Bruins. Like those are, if you look at his average time on ice, like those are all middle six numbers. He never really got that jump to the top line, which I'm sure if the Islanders would sign him, that's where he would end up slotting in. I have a little bit of a fear of what it would cost to land him. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, although I don't feel like we're seeing too many like massive overpays in the market. I know some people might point to Steven Stamkos's deal at $8 million, but that's about what we projected when we were talking about it on the Patreon show. PS Patreon/Up the Turnpike to sign up to our 2 podcasts per week, even through the summer. We figured it'd be somewhere around $8 million for him based on what Joe Pavelski got when he went to Dallas. So we're not seeing too many overpays in the market as far as I can tell. So maybe we won't have to. But yeah, I would be. It does seem like it's going to be another one of those, I don't know, like second line guys, $5 to $6 million, in which we already have 3 or 4.
Breaking news!
Oh God!
Wrong tab.
What is breaking?
David Perron, 2 years, $4 million to Ottawa.
I don't like that deal. I don't like that deal for Ottawa.
No, neither do I. I wouldn't touch him at this point in his career.
Like, I get the Ottawa Senators need to get a little bit more mature, and so this might be a way to do so. But at this point in his career, I don't think I'm doing that, even if I'm Ottawa. Yeah, I don't like that. But again, I'm not Ottawa, right? I am in Ottawa, but I am not a fan of the Ottawa Senators. I'm an Islander fan, as you can see on the wall behind us, if you've never heard me talk before. But they, like JJ goes on to say, like, buy out some players.
Whoa.
There's an end there, but I don't see what the end is.
News!
Oh my God.
Alan said, if the Preds get Stamkos, Marchessault, and Shea, wow. Well, now we can confirm Brady Shea to Nashville, 7 years, $7 million. Barry Trotz from the top effing rope today. Active early and often for our old friend of the program, Barry Trotz.
Those are some good signings for them, right? Like Brady Shea, great defenseman. Steven Stamkos, still a point per game player. And then you got Marchessault, who's got that kind of grizzled leadership. Yeah, John Leclerc says Trotz is killing it. He really is, man. Oh man. Oh, and I know we're gonna juxtapose what Trotz is doing to what Lou isn't doing right now. Although doesn't mean Lou isn't doing anything. It's just we haven't seen or heard him do anything just yet. Yeah, John, Trotz is killing it.
It's still all quiet on the Western Front. It's Yeah, I don't know. Are you nervous yet? I know it's
Yes.
early. We're only 12 minutes in here on the official free agency frenzy, even though, as every single year, news trickles out early in the morning. Agents leak it, all that good stuff. We know the drill here at this point, but still doesn't feel great, I would say. It doesn't feel
Right.
great, especially too, because, and we talked about it on the show last night, so we're gonna plug it again. Spoiler, but
Constantly.
Patreon for the two episodes, Friday 6-pack, game recaps, whole bunch of stuff over there. But on the show last night, we were talking about just in general. Sorry, where were we? I plugged it and then I completely lost my train of thought.
You're probably talking about the number of moves and how Lou's taking his time.
Sorry, my bad. Would feel a lot more comfortable if he cleared out some money.
Yeah.
Beforehand, which he hasn't done yet. So it's like the Islanders also have to go into this cleared out money. But if they had the money available right now, I'd probably feel more optimistic that something was going to happen today.
Yeah, because they've only got $5.8 million, and that's including Scott Mayfield on LTIR. Now they can't go 10% over, which is 8.8. So add that, they can go somewhere around like $14.6 million over the cap in the offseason. So Lou can cook if he wants to cook. And I'm sure he is. It's just we're not seeing it. And this is the fact that we don't hear anything or we're never linked to anyone officially, which is fine. It doesn't add to or doesn't dilute the FOMO that you feel 15 minutes in and you see all kinds of things, right? Like we already saw Lindholm go to Boston. Not a player we were linked to, but
news.
Breaking. I love it so much. Are you bringing up that one? Yeah, Lindholm to Boston, 7x775, which I think is pretty friggin' high. That's a lot of money for a guy who doesn't necessarily deserve it based off of how he played. And then apparently Arvidsson is going to Edmonton.
Yes.
That's not a player that we needed to bring in, but that's kind of like maybe under the right circumstances could be a top line if I'm thinking of the right guy here. Victor Arvidsson, right? Because he was in LA, wasn't he?
Yes.
Why can't I type? Arvidsson. There we go, Mitch. My gosh. Yeah, although 31. Okay, I thought he was a little bit younger than that, so never mind. I'll take that back. But 15 points in 18 games for LA this season, which isn't much because he was injured. But the year before that, 59. The year before that, 49. Like that's a guy who could probably play on our top line. But again, 31 years old. So we'll see what the money is here. Because I imagine it's a free agency, right? They're not trading for him.
No, it would be free agency. We haven't saw the money on it, but I have a breaking news for a money that I don't really like.
Let's do it.
Breaking news.
So Jason Zucker to the Sabres for 1 year at $5 million.
Whoa.
Still paying $5 million for 2024. Jason Zucker is certainly a choice, and one that I'm glad the New York Islanders did not make.
Yeah. Was he any good?
Yeah, 14 goals, 32 points.
In how many games?
68. 9, sorry.
Okay. 32 over 69 times 82. You're talking about a 40-point player and you're paying $5 million to do so?
At 33, or will be 33 in January.
Didn't they just buy out Jeff Skinner because he was overpaid and underproducing? And they're like, we're going to get back into it. We're just not going to pay the same amount.
No,
Guys, fine.
Yeah, and on a 1 year deal, not until the sun explodes.
Yeah, that's. Oof. If I'm a Buffalo fan, I'm not too happy.
No, I wouldn't love that one either.
Not there's nothing wrong with Jason Zucker. It's at the cost, right?
Another strange one that I don't really love the cost on. Victor Arvidsson is 2 for 4.
Well, that's not bad though, honestly.
He only played 18 games though.
Yeah, but you look at what he did before that in the 2 years before that with LA, and he's still a 40 to 50 point player. So you're paying $1 million less than what should we for Jason Zucker, who's 2 years older than Arvidsson. And you can play him on the top line with Connor McDavid. This guy's probably going to put up 60 to 80 points. No doubt.
I guess he has talent, and they're a team that could probably take a gamble like that. So maybe I'll walk it back. I think I just would have did a 1-year deal for him. I don't think I would have given him 2 years.
Right. So AJ says the Islanders, I believe, will either try and trade for someone or sign Duclair. The first part, yes, please. The second part, I have nothing against Duclair. It just seems like the same type of moves that we've been doing time and time again. If they do sign him, I'll back him. I won't be like cheerleading necessarily about it.
He's fine, but the Islanders have a bunch of those like $5 million players that are okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe he goes off, right? And becomes more than just a second line player, because we've seen him do that before, right? Like this year in Tampa, what did he do in Tampa? 15 points in 17 games. That's pretty damn good. 27 and 56 with San Jose, though. Not so much.
No, not nearly as much. What about JJ chimes in with Max Pacioretty?
I don't want to.
No.
I get the possibility that he's an upgrade and that he can score, or has proven that he can score before, but his age, I'm not doing it.
He hasn't. Another one who hasn't played 47 games this past year, 5 in 23, 39 in 2022.
Yeah, like he's beyond someone. He's definitely not someone I want to bring in. And if he does come in, I think I might be a little bit upset, because it's certainly the age isn't there. But if you're going to go sign someone who's got age, we were talking about it on the show yesterday. That's where you're looking at someone like Steven Stamkos, right? Which obviously isn't going to happen. He signed with Nashville for a boatload of money, too much money. Like both of us, when we were talking about it, said we didn't want to go over 6 for Stamkos, and we both believed he was going to get 8, which is what he got. That's the only time I'm willing to go older, but not for someone like Patches, as much as I liked him in his tenure with Montreal.
Yeah, it's a long time ago now, though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. What about Ishikov can play? He could be that guy, says you right to Pops.
I'm a big Ishikov guy. I hope that Patty Roy gives him a chance. They qualified him, so they want him to stay, which is great. We've only seen 2 games. I believe in his ability. I really do. I'm not entirely sure the Islanders believe in his ability. I want to see this happen. I really do. And if you put him on a line with Tsiplikov, like, who cares if Ishikov isn't going to hit someone through the glass? Tsiplikov's going to hit him through into the next year. And Lou apparently signed Tsiplikov to play in the NHL.
That's what he said. His words, not mine.
At least not Bridgeport. Didn't say anything about Worcester.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to send him down there, though.
No, that's fair. And I pronounced it right. Thank you, Spiz, for teaching me the proper pronunciation key for Worcester.
Yeah, that's news to me. We did get a new contract that I was going to pull up here on the screen. Nikita Zadorov, 6 years, $5 million.
Wow. That's a lot of money that they just gave up for 2 guys here, right? Like $5 million to Zadorov, and then they gave $7.75 for Lindholm. That's a lot of money that they just locked up for long. 6 years for Zadorov, 7 years for Lindholm. That's a long time. I'm not sure if I'm down with that. And even then, you look at the comments like, whoa, holy overpay. Like, not great.
That one, I was going to say that one feels like an overpay to me as well. I would agree with those comments.
Yeah. Okay, what do we think here? AJ says, I want Pinto, though if that's even possible. I know he asked for a trade, but will cost a lot.
You think it will cost a lot?
You know what? Who the hell knows? Ottawa just traded Jacob Chikrin for basically a bunch of chiclets, right? They got what's the right-handed defenseman? Nick Jensen, and we got
a new Islanders tweet.
Oh,
pull it up. This got to be a mistake
from the Islanders.
Yeah, it says it all starts October 10th at UBS #Isles with no video. There's clearly supposed to be a video here.
Like, oh my God. This is not the day to do this, guys. It's so not the day. Hey, we're all adding to our roster. Hey, guys, we play October 10th.
Yep.
Oh. Anyways, yes, going back to the Shane Pinto thing, I don't know what it's going to take to sign him. I agree with AJ that it should cost a lot because it is Shane Pinto and they clearly want to keep him. But again, they sent Jacob Chikrin to Washington for Nick Jensen, who's an okay right-handed defenseman. He's an okay defenseman for sure. And a third-round pick in 2026, 2 years from now. What? I understand he had 1 year left, but he still had 1 year left. You're getting a full year out of Jacob Chikrin, and you're redeveloping your team altogether. Like, this guy is going to put up points, and you got him for a guy you didn't want to keep and a third-round pick 2 years from now. Ottawa is not in the right place right now, it seems. So maybe now is the time to strike for Shane Pinto.
And it's not like they have a ton of leverage. Like, if he doesn't want to be there, are they going to get a haul for him?
Exactly.
By the way, I just wanted to pull this up. There's a Photoshop that courtesy of BR Open Ice of Steven Stamkos in a Predators jersey, and that is going to get that's going to be hard to get used to.
Yeah, that's going to be weird, man. It's going to be so weird to see him in a Nashville jersey. The first time he goes to Tampa is probably going to be quite emotional, right? He spent a lot of time there, did a lot of things for them, got those 2 championships.
Yep.
Drafted first overall by them. It's that's going to be emotional, even though we're not fans of the team type of thing. And screw Tampa because, obviously. Brendan Duhaime signed by Washington, 2 by 185.
Another one. Okay.
Yeah, it just keeps on coming. So we have another one here in the comments from Cheekster. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, Cheekster. Which FA signing would you be your highest priority for the Isles? Who's friggin' left, man?
Yeah, like I'm trying. Oh, this is off the top of my head. Of the biggest names left is for forwards, Duclair, DeBrusque. My guy Martinook went back to Carolina.
Yeah,
on the cheap.
Like there isn't anyone there where you're going, we have to sign this guy. There really isn't. No. When you just look at the free agents here, there isn't really anyone there where you're going, this guy is the missing piece. Like, there are some nice players there for sure. You got Jonathan Drouin, who's available, but like, that's not a guy who scores goals, which is what we need.
Breaking news!
Oh God.
Blue Jackets have agreed to terms with Sean Monahan, 5 years, $5.5 million AAV, reunion with Johnny Gaudreau.
I think that's going to be an overpay. 5 by 5.5.
Yeah, what did he end up putting up last year? 59 points, 26 goals. He didn't not do as well in Winnipeg.
No, he was fine. 13 goals, 24 points in 34 games, but then disappeared in those playoffs. And Winnipeg clearly they sent a first round pick to get him, and now they don't keep him. So
strange.
That's tough.
That is rough. Second, that feels like a pretty okay deal for a second line guy. When does he turn 30? He turns 30 though at the start of the year. So 30, 31, 32, 33, 34.
That's a long time.
It's okay. It's not, I wouldn't say that's an amazing deal. I'm not going to crush it and say that it was horrible also though.
No, exactly. But hey, going back to Winnipeg, can Lou dangle that 2025 first? Because they didn't make a first round pick this year because they wasted it to get 34 games, not even 39 games, including the playoffs, out of Sean Monahan. I believe they sent their first round pick in 2024 to get him, right? Let me pull that up now. The trade history. Thank you, Cap Friendly, for still being activated. They did.
Thank God.
They sent a 2024 first round pick to Montreal to get him for 39 games. Lou's got to dangle that 2025 first. Is like, look, I know you didn't make one this year, and Kevin Cheveldayoff loves making first round picks.
Yeah, he does.
Let's go. So yeah, going back to which FA signing would be your highest priority, I don't think there's one there.
No, it's got to be the trade market, I would think, if anything.
Really does. Or like some sort of RFA here, right? Like Nietzsche is still available, right? I know he's an RFA, not a UFA, so it's a big difference and the cost might be high. But I think that's where we're at. Like, what about even Kirill Marchenko, man? Like, 23-year-old. I know he's an RFA, but Columbus is making moves. Maybe they don't have the money. Maybe he doesn't want to stay.
Scores
Yeah.
at least.
That's me honestly, like, pulling at the biggest straw I could find.
It's a little bit of a reach, but
Yeah.
that might have to be what's going on. At least our guy Johnny Boucher, or I guess Boucher chimes in. Lou is working on the Line trade. Columbus doing. I mean, they might have to work something out. Line I know hasn't played a lot over the last this past year, 18. But even the last few years, 18, 55, and 56 games. Now, he's been productive there in Columbus. He played 174 games and had 138 points and 64 goals. Like he was good, but there is inherent risk involved with trading for Patrick Laine, which we talked about at length on the regular show.
But I'm with Johnny. I hope that he's working that, because that was my dream scenario, was picking up Patrick Laine. A motivated, refreshed, and ready to go Patrick Laine would be ideal. If you can get this guy back to his 40-goal ways, because he's got it. He's got that 40-goal potential without a doubt when he's at his peak, which he still is. He's only 26 years old, man. That would be ideal for me. We'll see if that's what Lou does. Which is going to be a bummer through this day if we keep going through the trade market, because we're probably not going to see anything for a while.
Breaking news.
I don't like this one. Sources say Kings have agreed to terms with defenseman Joel Edmondson, 4 years at $3.8 million.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know why that term, though.
They played so poor defensively in the playoffs. They're like, we need someone who can play some sort of defense, even if he's not that great at it.
Yes.
I'm sure he's fine, but that is a long term. Oh, DeBrusk's off the board, guys.
Breaking news.
I love it.
We gotta hang on. Where did he go?
He went to Vancouver. 7 years, $5.5 million.
See, that was my fear, was that it would be a contract. Oops, I went out of it. Would be that it would be a contract in that range.
Yeah, that's he's worth it.
Much. I don't think so. His best year, he had 150-point season. Everything else, he's been around the 40-point player. That's a long time at a decent chunk of change money too.
Yeah, they're paying for potential here. Clearly, like they think he could be that second line 60-point player type of thing, and there's a potential there for it. But I think for me, we've got so many of these guys already. It would have been underwhelming if we would have made this deal. We probably could have, and I would have still cheered for it had it happened. Again, I'm not going to crap on any deal the Islanders make unless it's like Robert Bortuzzo at 3 years for $1 million. I have no that cannot happen in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But I will give whatever deal they make, it's the respect it deserves and the time it deserves. And we'll see what happens, whatever they end up doing. It just can't be stand pat, man. It can't be stand pat.
That's what it's been so far.
Yeah. What about Jamson saying Steos got fleeced, probably focusing on Pinto's situation / offer sheets, which makes a lot of sense, right?
It does make a lot of sense, and that's hopefully something that the Islanders could take advantage of. Again, I would like to see them make a swing for Pinto, hometown kid, young, ascending player. That's the guy, or that's the type of guy we've talked about wanting the Islanders to add for a little while now.
Yeah, exactly. He's the exact type of profile we're looking to add. Now, if we make an offer sheet, apparently Ottawa will match it. Sounds like he's asked for a trade. Like it was just an hour ago. The updates on Pinto. I'm trying to look at Twitter to see if, or X or whatever the hell you want to call it. And I'm not seeing any more updates. Yeah, there's just
nothing.
He wants out. So the quieter it gets on the Shane Pinto front, or any player, the better for us, I suppose.
I would imagine so. I would, but that's not even necessarily something that has to happen like this second. It would be nice because it would ease our tensions, But that's not something that has to be resolved today as much as we might like it to.
Right. And that's where we start getting into like managing our own expectations here, right? Like, because we all want something, but we might not see it for a couple of days. So we might end the day with stand pat, but it might not actually be standing pat because, well, it might take a couple of days to work out the mechanics of a trade with someone else. And that's just the nature of Lou Lamoriello, right?
It's the nature of Lou. It's the nature of free agency, and in general, a lot of times it's not a lot. There's after the DeBrusque. I was gonna say after, like it happened 3 minutes ago, but in the last 3 minutes, we haven't really seen anything. Kevin Stanlin, 2 years at $2 million with Utah. It was really the next relatively big one.
Yeah,
big. This shrug, as you said in here. That's the exact reaction.
Just like, says we're asked like, what's Lou doing? Something. Like, I know he's doing something. Is he gonna get what he wants? Is the real kicker here. Remains to be seen. And I feel it. Like, all of us are having that FOMO feeling. I was certainly feeling it when I was walking back home from my family and I went for a walk, and the phone was just constantly, and it wasn't Islander updates.
No.
So then you get to sit back down at 11:30, a half hour before everything is supposed to happen, and you scroll through and nothing Islander related other than like, hey, we start our season October 10th. Like, guys,
did they ever fix that tweet, or is it still sitting up there wrong? By the way, let's see.
I hope it's fixed.
No.
Guys, it's not the time for this. But typos and things like that happen. Matt Murray apparently staying in Toronto.
Okay.
So they're running back their goalie core.
Yeah, Wall, right? They re-signed Wall, and
Yeah.
they're bringing back Matthew Murray. The only one that isn't returning is what's his face?
Samsonov.
Yeah.
I don't know where he goes, but he's gonna have to find a new home, it seems. There's just nothing going on Islanders related here, like, which sucks when you add what happened at the draft, right? Which is, again, I really want to make it clear. I'd like the guys we drafted. I just hate the fact that we were drafting. I really wanted to move those picks to acquire the talent that we needed. Doesn't mean we can't. It's just we were looking for something and we get nothing. Actually, the only news we get is we hired what's his face, Tommy Albalin, as an assistant coach instead of Doug Huda, who has worked under Lou Lamoriello before, like the Louist of Lou moves possible.
Yeah, that was a very Lou move. He also was an assistant coach for Sweden too, right?
Yes. So cool. Like, he's great. If he gives us what we need in terms of like defensive structure or just penalty kill efficiency, great move. But we need more than just like, we got a guy who can do things on the PK. That's going to be huge in and of itself. We need more than that, obviously.
I'm sorry. This is a hilarious Jay Fresh tweet. You know how he has like a caption with his player cards when people get signed? We talked about this guy, so we got to pull this up. Joel Edmondson signed 4 by $3.8 million by Edmonton as a physical defensive depth defenseman and cross-checking aficionado. Doesn't do anything with the puck, and while he clears the crease, he does give up a lot of scoring chances very close to it.
Ouch.
Not exactly a ringing endorsement.
Not exactly a ringing endorsement at all. William Carrière, 6 by 2 in Carolina, 6 years for $2 million. That seems like a long deal for what is not anything big.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten a ton of playing time.
No,
there, right?
No, that's
well,
really
he was with Vegas. He played 39 games for Vegas. You just signed a seventh defenseman for 6 years, essentially.
Yeah, I want to see them crap on Carolina for that, because that Lou has done this contract 3 times now, and we get crapped on, rightfully so, every friggin' time.
13th forward, rather. Sorry.
Right? We get crapped on for giving, Ross Johnson 4 years at 1.1. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I want to see the entire NHL fandom go like, the hell are you doing here? I want to see the crap on that. Okay, so then we got in the comments, Lou's ruined his franchise. Nothing will change until he. Oof, that is graphic. Don't
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he hasn't ruined it. Let's be honest here, but we're. I think this is kind of where we are as a fan base, where we're teetering on super negative or super positive based on what happens, because nothing really happens. So we're left to fill the gaps, and when we fill the gaps, we all get very we all lean heavily whatever way we want to lean. John, go ahead.
Sorry.
You go for it.
I don't think it's unfair to say that he shouldn't be the GM anymore. I don't ruined is harsh, because I don't think they get Barry Trotz or Ilya Sorokin without Lou Lamoriello being here, but his track record over the last couple of years hasn't been great.
No, exactly.
For sure.
I like John's comment here about Lee. I still think Lee will bounce back from last year. Obviously, we all hope that. And we've mentioned it on the show, and I know John is a patron here. We've talked about Anders Lee on the show before in terms of what he gives underlying numbers. I understand underlying aren't the overlying ones, which is what we really want. We want to see the actual goals and points. But in the regular season here at 5-on-5, his individual expected goals were some of the best in the league. I'm just trying to bring it up now to make sure I've got the right number here. Bear with me, please. Yeah, there are only 2 players who had more individual expected goals at 5-on-5 than Anders Lee in the NHL this year, and that was Zach Hyman and Austin Matthews. End of list. That's it. That's all. You've got a guy in Anders Lee who should be scoring nearly at the same rate as these guys at 5-on-5. He put up 25 individual expected goals at 5-on-5 this year, and he only scored 16. Which is the same as Zach Hyman, by the way. The same as Zach Hyman. So, like, there's still a good player there in terms of underlying numbers. If we can get those underlying numbers to show up, specifically on the power play, that could be huge for the Isles. But, yeah.
He was really unlucky this year, which is what Walter says. But I'm at 34 years old. I don't know how much of a bounce back we're going to get, which is my fear on that.
Yeah, exactly. The potential for the bounce back is lower because of the age. I agree with Walter. Like, lots of shuffling of the deck chairs so far today, which is fine. We're seeing a lot of things going around, like random players moving to random teams. And nothing really going on for the Isles.
By the way, the William Carrier, we were hoping for them to be shit on. The exact opposite is happening, actually.
What?
You'd like me to pull that up? So William Carrier, signed 6x2 by Carolina, has been one of the league's top analytical darling fourth liners for years. He's got a cup ring, strong play driving numbers at both ends of the ice, good scoring rates, and scoring chance creation.
Of course.
Just naturally, they could do no. Carolina could do no wrong. I fear for a lot of these people.
I don't. My gosh, 29 years old, gonna be 30 in December, so like that's not so bad. But like, what are we talking about here? His best year is 25 points in 56 games, scored 16 goals. Fine. He had one good year, and they're like, oh my God. And I love analytics. I do. But like at a certain point, you have to look at these analytics and say, he did only play 39 friggin' games and averaged 11 minutes of ice time. There's something to be said in terms of sample size here. And I know they average out per 60 here, but still, someone has to look at that and say, there's some skewing happened. You can't give this guy 6 friggin' years. They finally fixed it.
They finally updated. I wanted to pull that up. They finally updated the graphic here.
Jeez. Okay, so they got a 13th forward for, and you know what? He's probably going to put up a ton of points because he's going to play in Carolina now, and they're going to get a ton of shots. And then I love analytics. I really do. Sometimes it goes too far, man. Sometimes it goes too far.
I definitely agree. I definitely think that's the case. There was something that I wanted to pull up. Arthur Staple.
Okay.
Something. That it was not sure if it's official, but Jonathan Drouin heading back to Colorado. Rangers had strong interest.
That makes sense. I don't understand why Jonathan Drouin would go anywhere else than stay in Colorado if they wanted him. You get to play with your buddy Nathan McKinnon. You'll be more comfortable in Colorado. You don't have to go to a big market like the Rangers. Didn't really like his time in Montreal in the big market there. Yeah, man, just fly under the radar in Colorado, put up your like 30, 40, maybe even 50 points.
He had 56 last year.
Right. And just call it a day. And I think that's why he wants to stay in Colorado. Like he'll take a hit, call a hit on his income if he can stay in Colorado for sure.
Yeah, but I think it's beneficial for him. Like that's a good spot for him to be.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. X-Pun says Preds are killing it. Yep, they definitely are. The moves they made today were really good. All moves that we probably would have liked to have made in terms of the name, maybe not so much in terms of the contract. And that's not saying that what Nashville did, they overpaid or whatnot. It's just we didn't have that kind of money to hand out to guys like Stamkos. As much as we would have liked to have bring in Stamkos as well.
Breaking news.
Oh,
big one, Mitch. Huge.
Oh no.
Huge. Ready?
Yeah.
Sitting down. Goalie market moving. Sources say Red Wings have agreed to terms with veteran netminder Cam Talbot on a 2-year deal.
Okay. I don't know what the heck the Red Wings.
It's been a little quiet. I need to drum up some fun on this stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the Red Wings are doing exactly.
Do they have a plan?
I don't think so. Yzerman does not have a plan, I feel. Yeah. Same thing with Ottawa. I don't know what the heck they're doing either. It's just they're not doing anything. I keep looking at my phone to see if I'm missing any updates, and I'm not.
No.
Alan, hey guys, please be honest with the fan base. This team is stuck in quicksand with Lou. No, come on.
You're not familiar with Alan. Alan is a big Jets fan too, so I've seen him on my stuff. He is not usually a fan of the general managers of his favorite teams. But the Lou criticism, Lou deserves to be criticized.
Yes.
I don't think he's done a good job. I'm not ready to just be like that. That's it. It's over. But Alan's not the most positive fella.
Okay. It's not like it obviously we're not super like he's doing a great, fantastic job. They are doing relatively well. The fact that they drafted who they drafted was great. Like Lou took advantage of a good situation. I wish he would have been more aggressive in terms of the trade market, but he wasn't the only one to not get something done. So kind of hanging my hat on that one, being like, well, we weren't the only ones to not do something. Here, things aren't really going in terms of us bringing anyone in, but it's not like there was anyone out there where we said, we have to get this guy. This is the solution. It's probably going to be trade market, which is better for us, right? Because we can get younger, which is what we want to do. So let's reserve our sentiment to the start of the year to see how this whole offseason plan works.
Do you agree with Walter that one day the Yzer plan will work?
Maybe, and Yzerman won't be there anymore.
Yeah, it'll be somebody else reaping the rewards.
Yeah.
Connor asks if we expect any moves from the Islanders this offseason, which at this point feels like a fair question because it's been very, very quiet.
I do. I expect them to do something. You can't go through this the start the season with the same team.
No, God, no.
Like we're going to just by the default nature of it, but I'm sure Connor's not saying like I don't think he includes like re-signing Mike Riley in the did something in the offseason category, which is fair because that's not really doing something. You just kept the guy that you already had. I expect them to do something. I don't necessarily expect a free agent signing just because we shouldn't be. A lot of these guys are much older. It's not really what we're looking for type of thing, except for Shillington. I will go to bat for Oliver Shillington is probably the only guy out there where I'm saying that would be something huge for us. That'd be a huge upgrade over Mike Riley with absolutely no disrespect thrown to Mike Riley whatsoever.
Yeah, I understand that. I get it. I think O'Reilly re-signing is going to happen at some point, though. Stefan Rosner, who is on the Islanders beat, tweeted out that they were working on a deal. I think it gets announced. Who knows? Probably in the 4:00 hour today. That sounds like something that will happen. First tweet is Islanders agreed to 2-year, $1.5 million AAV.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we still have like Sebastian Aho isn't re-signed, right? Like they let him go. He's a free agent. They haven't re-signed him.
Yeah, I could do without Sebastian Aho.
Right. So that's where I'm kind of getting at with like Mike Riley. He could be a 13th forward and you bring in, or sorry, 13th forward, my God, a 7th defenseman. And you bring in someone like Shillington and you swap guys in and out. Maybe not Shillington and Riley, but like Riley could be your guy to step in. You sign him for $1 million. Then that's fair to him. But we'll see going forward in terms of, do we expect any moves? Yes, I do expect some, maybe not necessarily in free agency.
Big trades happening.
Oh, really?
Big. No. I'm saying
that's what we need.
That's it. Yeah, that's what we want to see from the New York Islanders.
Yeah. So like John is saying, when it comes to Lee, that he's probably not going to live up to $7 million contract, which is true. Probably not. If you can still do 25 goals and like 45 to 50 points, we can live with that. Absolutely. Like we're going to have to. Really,
you're going to have to. I don't know. Can he get back to that though? He had 37 this past year and 20 goals.
I want to.
I would love. I've said it before. Anders Lee is one of my favorite Islanders. Yeah, I've loved him since he's come up with the team. I thought it was a cool story, whole thing. Scored a lot of goals for this team. But at 34, is that going to be the bounce back year? I have a hard time saying that. Oh yeah, just because you had a down year at 33, that doesn't mean that it's on the downswing.
Right. It might not be the end here, but I don't like where this is heading with Anders Lee. I don't think that there's a big bounce back about to happen. He had a good playoff, right? 4 points in 5 games. And I'm just trying to get this last like 16 games had 9 points. So we're at 13 points in 21 games. 13 over 21 times, oh my gosh, 82. It's a 51-point player. Now I'm cherry picking the sample here. I'm very much cherry picking the sample.
Naturally.
At the end of the year, through his last like 20 some odd games, he was a 50-point player. So there's that potential there. Is like you're saying, can we get that as a 34-year-old starting the year? I don't know. And that's ceiling, right? Like that's him going like, me cherry picking for the best type of output is 50 points. We might not see the same. Being able to move that contract would be huge. But I think it's like you said on the podcast yesterday, if we move a deal, it's probably not going to be Lee.
No, I think Pajot is the one that's most likely to get moved at this point.
Because we're running out of teams that can take $7 million worth of money.
Or you might have to retain $3 million.
Right. Because like Anaheim's got the most cap space under the floor at 8.8. They're going to have to hit the floor at some point, though. They still have some players to re-sign, I believe. Oh, not even Jackson Lacombe, whoever the hell that is.
Jackson Lacombe.
Yeah, has not re-signed. But maybe Trevor Zegras is another player that we can go for. Apparently, he was available right last year.
I would
be like the Shane Pinto, Trevor Zegras kind of tier for us.
Please, I would love Trevor Zegras on this team.
Yeah,
aren't the Rangers really interested in Trevor Zegras?
Yeah, the Rangers are apparently interested in everyone. They called my son to see if he could join the team. They saw him score 1 goal on me, and they're like, "Oh my God, call him now!"
Did it work?
No, they didn't. Screw them. I hung up the phone right away. Chris Drury called me. Who's this? Chris Drury? Get out of here.
Bang.
John never apologized for typos. I am the typo king.
It happens.
Never apologize for typos ever.
Yeah. But okay. We know what you meant.
And like today is a running around day for sure. I was going to do a shot of maple syrup because it's Canada Day today.
Oh, yes.
I was going to do a straight shot of maple syrup on the show. And forgot that.
No.
Maybe in the second hour I'll do that.
Maybe. We still got time. So we're going to be on till 2:00 today, first 2 hours. And we're 51 minutes in. Shockingly, nothing has happened so far. Although Connor points out something we've discussed already, which is Islanders' interest in Shane Pinto, which would be very nice.
Yeah. But as Connor said, the Islander defeatism goes with anything here, right? Like any player we're interested, we don't get, which is fair. We never really get. Well, Bo Horvat was maybe the exception here, right?
Mhm.
Because we were
would
interested in
say so.
Bo and we got him. But yeah, nothing really happening here on the Islanders front, as far as I can tell. I keep refreshing Isles Twitter to see if I'm missing something here, but there's nothing really going on. Although like
After that first like wave of free agency, I feel like it's been quiet. We got like this one Duchesne 1-year deal is a flat $3 million, which that seems like a ridiculously good contract.
yeah, that's a good deal. And he wanted to stay, so they didn't have to break the bank. So yeah, that's
He put
fine.
up 65 points last year.
Yeah, he was so good for them. That was a good signing by them. Yeah, Walter asked where Max Domi ends up. I'm pretty sure he signed in Toronto, did he not?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure. He even had like the I'm not going anywhere type of Wolf of Wall Street tweet. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he did. I missed that one yesterday.
That one came in under the wire, although I don't know why, because they didn't give him 8 years. They did what, 4 by 3.5 or something like that?
4 by 3.75.
Right. Okay. So whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that one. I missed that one.
And then Bertuzzi's going to Chicago, I believe, right?
Yeah, at 5.5. It's on the scroll somewhere. I believe
Oh
it's
yeah, there it is. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. That's where he's going. But that would have been a decent add in terms of depth if we were looking for depth. But as we're standing now, we're not really looking for that. We're looking for top end, which comes back to this free agent class. There wasn't really any top end talent that we knew was going to be available. Like Sam Reinhart was maybe the best one, who got a hell of a good deal, right? 8.35?
8625. It's a long number.
Right. Which is a really good deal for him. I know people are saying like taxes, maybe, but
extra, read all about it.
yeah, I'm not really worried about the whole tax situation. He was going to stay no matter what. And they just won a cup.
Breaking news.
Oh,
All right, we got 2 depth signings, neither by the New York Islanders, by the way. Tyson Jost, 775, so vet minimum to Carolina, and Tomas Nosek, 775 to Florida.
this is good. Those are good depth deals. Which we don't need to do. We've got enough depth guys. Our bottom 6 is basically figured out next year. We need top end to push some of our better players maybe a little bit further down the depth chart to have better assignments. Like Anders Lee can't be a top line player, probably not even a second line player. So we need someone up top to push him down. You put Anders Lee in the third line. I'm not saying he's going to pop off with 50 points, but you're probably getting a better version of him with, fewer minutes. So
can I pull up interesting point from Stefan here?
Absolutely.
It's something that they did at one point, very briefly, but very successfully, I might add, which is further on this, a Pinto acquisition could help Isles fill their first line left wing hole. Pinto could play second line center, which would allow Brock Nelson to play on the top line with Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal.
Yep. Yes. Yes.
Right? Like that. You're almost, in a way, it's not perfect, but you're kind of killing 2 birds, 1 stone with a move like that.
And if that doesn't work out, try Pinto in there. Right? Like, and keep Brock down the middle. We know Brock does well down the middle. We've seen it for years now.
I don't think Pinto is great in the face-off dot. He's fine. 50.6. I take it.
He'll survive. You're going to win just over half of your draws, which is okay. And then he puts up points. So, and then he's pretty good on the power play, which is a win, obviously, for us. Yep. But we were getting too excited, I think, about the possibility of Shane Pinto. But it checks all of the boxes.
John asked, does Brock have the speed to keep up? He definitely has the shot. I think he would be fine on that line.
Maybe. Let's check that out.
I mean, it worked for what? They had it for like a week or two in the beginning of their turnaround.
Where is Brock Nelson? There he is. So NHL Edge, Brock Nelson here. If it ever loads, NHL Edge is notoriously fickle. He's not the fastest. His top this is regular season just to make sure, because sometimes they throw the playoffs here. Top skating speed 22.4, which is 58th percentile. Speed burst over 20, 86th percentile. So on the rush, he's probably a pretty damn good player, which is great for someone like Matthew Barzal. So that's good. 22 plus mile per hour bursts. He's only done 6, which sounds really low, but the NHL average is 3rd, and he's in the 81st percentile there. Like his speed burst, when he needs to turn on the afterburners, Brock Nelson's a pretty fast skater relative to the rest of the league. So maybe he could. Jamie, what's up? Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Jimmy Corky, what's going on? How are you, friend?
Legend of the patron. So John, so many patrons here. What's up, guys? Connor Freeman says, at this point, I don't think we should waste cap space on the free agents still available and should look to make trades because almost none of the free agents help fill our needs.
Fair.
Friggin', yeah, right on the nose, Connor.
Nailed it.
Yeah, totally agree. Like any of the free agents. Really. Oh,
Warren Fogle to Los Angeles, 3 years in the mid-3.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
For Warren Fogle of all people. How many points did he put up? He had 41 points, but wasn't he playing with McDavid?
Probably Fogely. Natural. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but that's how you spell it.
Natural. But that's by far a career high. The rest of his points in his career, 28, 26, 20, 30, 15.
Which tells you he probably did. Teammates, let's go this year, regular season 5-on-5, submits. I'm just going to Natural Stat Trick to check that out.
Fine.
Oh my God, Natural Stat Trick, let's go. Good old Canadian internet on July 1st.
They're busy.
Time on ice with not really. Oh, well, so the most was Ryan McLeod, Darnell Nurse, Cody Ceci, and then Leon Draisaitl at 387. And then it drops precipitously to Brett Kulak.
Mm-hmm.
So he spent 100 minutes with Connor McDavid 5-on-5 this year, but he spent 387 with Leon Draisaitl, who's also a 100-point player.
Yeah, that'll help.
That'll definitely help anyone. So, yeah, good times, guys, there.
Yeah, Warren Fogle at $3 million. Good for him. I mean, you play with a 100-point player, you cash in.
Yeah, $3 million for 3 years as well, right? Like,
so 9.
Good job. You just got $9 million in your bank account. That's insane. Good job
for a 40-point season because you hung out with Leon Draisaitl a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Right. This is the ugly friend. What is it? The ugly friend syndrome or something like that? You hang out with someone. Yeah, that's the one. Kevin Scott. Yeah, that's fair.
That's not always the best practice. Now, we've also been very vocal that we would like to see a trade. Now, unfortunately, trades have been done today, so it's like nothing's really happened. So I don't know. I'd very much like something to happen here, make it a little bit easier on us.
But it kind of gets into what Connor was saying too. Like, if we're signing someone day 2, we're not taking top of the barrel either. We're filling in depth, which we've got. So ideally, we're not making too many signings, if any, on UFA day 2. Maybe one random guy to fill in like that fourth line role. Although we think it's going to be McLeod, Siplikov, and Hudson Fasching on that fourth line for the Isles. So maybe we pick up a 13th forward and like a 7th defenseman, perhaps.
It's possible, but that's not going to get the people going, Mitch.
No, it is not. No, it is not. John says that Sean Monahan contract is not going to age well. It was only a couple years ago that Calgary couldn't give him away. They just give me Bailey contract vibes. Yeah. Like the guy that they're going to put in every situation. Maybe he does well for a year. I don't think so. Like, Winnipeg just spent a first-round pick plus to get him for 39 games. And now they didn't want to keep him. Right. And he did pretty well for them in the regular season, 24 points in those 34 games. and they let him go. Now Columbus is going, yeah, like give me that for 5 by, what was it, 5.5? Oof.
Yeah, 5 by 5.5. Had a nice season this past year, but before that, struggled for a few years at the end of his tenure in. He had a great 2018-19, and then went down to a 48-point player, 28 and 50, 23 and 65, and then bounced back a little bit with Winnipeg and Montreal, but risky,
very risky. Walter says he's not going to lie. I didn't like any of the names in free agency, which is fair. But that doesn't mean we and I'm sure Walter will agree to that as well. It doesn't mean that none of us felt any sort of FOMO when we saw some of these names go through.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, again, the name itself. Oh, I wish we'd got that player. Oh, we should have done that move. It's that other teams are doing something and we're not. And that's where the FOMO is coming from. At least for myself, I won't speak for anyone else, but I feel confident in saying that others, most of the fan base may have felt the same way, that other teams are doing something and we are doing nothing. And that's where the FOMO
news.
Ooh, not us related, I would imagine.
Michael Amadio, 3 years, 2.6 to Ottawa.
Okay. Fine.
He had 27 points in 73 games for Vegas. He played 5 games with Ottawa in 2021.
And then they got to bang him back. Ottawa's another one of those teams where, again, they're trying to bring in more maturity because they're just too young. I think they're going to lean way too hard on that way, and it's going to backfire.
I think so. I agree with you. I don't know what their plan is, which I know this is bad for like doing a show and like podcasting, but I don't really have a good answer for like what the plan is.
For Ottawa, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're not an Ottawa podcast, so we can't really tell what Ottawa's. To me, it's they're trying to get more mature. They've got the young talent. They just need to supplement that. Oh my gosh, fighter jets flying above right now. They need to supplement that young hyper talent with more structured veterans, which is why they went for like David Perron and so on. But like, I feel they're going to lean too heavily that way, overpay some of these guys, and it's going to screw them up when they come to re-sign some of those younger talents.
Oh, hard agree with you. I don't get the plan there.
No.
Which Alan asks, Skinner or Duclair for first line wing?
Oh, they're not. This is not a bad question. Sorry, I don't mean to like sigh because you asked it. It's not, has nothing to do with you. That's if we're looking at free agent additions to a top line, those are the only 2 names, and I'm not particularly jazzed about any of them. Skinner is basically just Anders Lee.
He'll be cheaper.
Exactly, which is the only way it would be tolerable. Duclair, I know other people like him. I haven't been a fan for a while, but if you, Alan, believe that Duclair can fill that role and then we do bring him in, I hope that you're right and that I am wrong in that case.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Depends on what the cost is. This has got to be like a $4 million AAV kind of guy.
Yeah. 3 years, $4 million. That's about it, because you're not going to go and break the bank. And then you hope that it just works.
He's not in a similar stylistic play wise, but in a similar, where do you put him in your lineup wise, kind of reminds me of Pierre Engvall.
Yeah. Which is all right. We have the Anthony Duclair at home type of thing, but if they do it, then fine.
Which again, I'm not saying stylistically, like Anthony Duclair scores significantly more goals and they don't really play the same way, but just kind of like with what he's going to be paid, like where's he going to fit in the lineup kind of a thing.
Exactly. Connor says, I've heard many different views about Sorokin. Many are worried about him, Will included, if anyone is from the Discord or the Patreon, I should say. Many are worried about him, saying that he is not a franchise goalie, but I totally disagree. Goalies will have bad seasons. He will bounce back. What do you say to that?
I agree 1000%. I think he was put in an awful situation last year, especially early on in the year. Was kind of run into the ground and was just cooked by the end. I think he'll be fine next year.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Apparently, not the underlying, but the proprietary information within NHL circles said that the Islanders had the best goaltending or were given game-winning goaltending even when Lane Lambert was here. So that says a lot. Now, when was Lane Lambert let go by the Islanders? Do you remember the date?
It's January. Sorry, I'm getting
I'll look it up.
between NHL free agency and I'm getting texts about the house too. This is
Oh my gosh.
all good things.
So January 20th is when Patrick Roy was hired. So his first game, January 20th, would have been the 21st. So under Lane Lambert, Ilya Sorokin was, as Marv said, Lambert cooked him. What's up, Marv? So under Lane Lambert, Ilya Sorokin, 908 save percentage. And this is going to take me a sec here to calculate it because apparently Hockey Reference won't calculate the goals against average, which should be easy to do. 104 times 60 divided by 1946.5, a 321 goals against average under Lane Lambert's 321 and a 908. Absolutely pathetic game numbers for Ilya Sorokin. And yeah, like Connor says, first game with against Dallas. What is it with when the Islanders make a coaching change? We always play Dallas the first time.
Yeah, good question. I don't know. That the same thing with Doug Weight, right?
Yes, right. Okay, and then under Patrick Roy, save percentage 909, basically the same thing, but save percentage 63 times 60
Or
divided by 30. Yes. Goals against 2.74.
Not good, but better.
Shaves off 0.5 goals against average.
That's a big difference. But like I almost feel, and especially last year, I feel like there wasn't a ton of great goalies. 910 and 274 is okay. That's not Ilya Sorokin $8.5 million worth, but it's okay. Again, I would way too early. I'll give my final prediction as it gets closer, but I think probably fair to say he's going to be 915 to 920 with a 2.5 or lower goals against next year,
which would be huge for the Islanders. You get that kind of goaltending with the team we had last year. We win so many more games. It's ridiculous. And then ideally, this new coach can coach a penalty kill, and we're not a complete liability when Scott Mayfield takes a cross-checking penalty. Maybe we win a few more games. Now, does that change anything in the playoffs? I don't really care. We win more games in the regular season. That's what I care more about.
Yeah, but that puts you in a better spot to be successful come playoff time, though. So you're not a wild card team going up against Carolina for the third year in a row.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Connor brings up a good point about Sorokin and the number of shots faced under Lambert. Let me bring that up. Here if I can. Hockey Reference. Come on now, Hockey Reference. Apparently I can't click on things, which is why I'm not very good at StarCraft. Dallas on the 21st, the first game. So shots faced, shots against for Ilya Sorokin under Lane Lambert, 1,132. So you divide that by the 33 games, and that's 34.3 per game he was facing under Lane Lambert. Now, if we do that under Patrick Roy, the 21st all the way to the end, not counting that one playoff game, of course, he's got shots against in 23 games is 690. 690 divided by 23 is a flat 30. That's 4 less. These are shots on net.
That's a big difference, though.
Probably do shot attempts.
Oh, right. I'm afraid to look at that one.
Yeah,
we should do it, but I'm scared what you're going to come back with. By the way,
okay. Do teams so I can probably do the period of time better. So if we do regular season, we're going to do all strength, obviously, because that's what matters most. Against all teams from dates. So month October 1st, 2024 through to January 20th, 2024. Oh, wait. No, well, you know what? Doesn't matter because Sorokin would have played most of those games anyways. I should probably do it for Sorokin.
While you're pulling that up, I have a breaking news though.
Breaking news.
Good.
So, according to Kevin Weeks, he says, I'm told that Stephen Nosen is returning here to the Garden State. He signed a 3-year contract at $2.75 million AAV.
It's not a bad deal, right? And Nosen had good
No.
time there in New Jersey.
He played half a season in 16-17. His only full year there was 17-18, where he had 27 points, 13 goals in 72 games. Past 2 years in Carolina was really good. For what he is, for a depth player at 3 years and $2.75 million at age 30. 37 points this year, 36 points last year, had 14 goals this year, 13 last year. I mean, that's pretty consistent. But if you're paying under $3 million for a guy who's going to give you in the mid 30s in points and roughly 14 goals, I like that deal for them.
So I'm trying to get the numbers for Sorokin, and it's just not adding up because it's giving his goalie stats, which don't count the number of shot attempts that he faced, which really stinks. Because then I can't isolate for just him. But so let me just do the team numbers, and then
we could do do it just as the team, because I'm sure that it improved drastically from that point on after the coaching change.
Yeah. So for the Islanders teams, New York Islanders had Corsi against. Let me do per 60. That'll be a little bit more clear.
I heard those jets going over you.
Right? They keep flying around. It's Canada Day here, people. So it's not wartime. It's Canada Day. And we're getting a big old air show. And I live basically downtown. So Corsi against 70 per 60. So 70 shot attempts per game, which is the second worst in the league. The only team worse were the San Jose Sharks, which were
Mitch, remind me, were they good or bad at hockey?
Yeah. So this is under Lane Lambert. Under Lane Lambert, the Islanders had 70 shot attempts per 60. Second worst in the league. Now, if we change that to under Patrick Roy, so give me another quick second here, and then we'll go like May 1st, I think would be a fair thing to do. Just regular season stats. Teams, New York Islanders, Corsi against 62.06. Okay, keep that in mind. 62.06 is the 11th lowest. Or sorry, no. Wait, let me do that backwards. The 22nd lowest. Not great.
But they improved by like 10 spots almost.
Exactly. Right? So like they shaved off basically 10 shot attempts per game. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that is a big difference.
So good stuff by them, but like it's never going to be the Carolina Hurricanes with 49 shot attempts against per 60.
No, that's wild.
Yeah. So anyways, long discussion in terms of Ilya Sorokin, but yes. Jamie Corky says it's bonkers how bad our penalty kill was last year. Since Trotz, we were always among the best PK. A regression made sense, but that was a cliff dive.
Yeah, they went a regression was fine. If they ended up being like 17th in the league, you're like, okay, they took a step back. They were 9th a year ago with Lane Lambert. That first full year, they were a top 10 penalty kill. And again, I'm not saying they have to be, they have to be top 3, but you just can't be worst in the league by a significant margin.
No, you really can't. It was absolutely pathetic. If we go by season, so if we're going as of the first year of Trotz, so 2018-19, we're only interested in the New York Islanders seasons. We're not going to sum results here. So there are, in terms of the PK, we were above 80% from 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So the last 4 years really of Barry Trotz. Well, the last 3 years, because 22, 23 wasn't a Barry Trotz year. We were 80%. The only year under Barry Trotz where we weren't, we were at 79.9, basically there. And then last year, 71.5%.
Oof.
Oh. But the power play, that was our second best year in terms of power play efficiency last year at 20.4%. Every other year, minus 21, 22, we were below 20%. Like, we can't have both.
No, clearly not.
Ever.
Clearly freaking not. We have a goalie signing, Mitch.
Oh,
Breaking news.
Casey DeSmith is heading to Texas. Dallas Stars. 3 years, $1 million. That's pretty good for them, I feel like.
that's a pretty good deal. I thought he was staying in Vancouver. They said that they wanted to keep him, which made a ton of sense. Although Stalovs or Salovs or whatever the heck his last name is, who came in relief during the playoffs, also did pretty well. But man, that's a good move from Dallas. They can insulate their goalies pretty well, and DeSmith has some qualities.
Yeah, he had a not great year, 8.95 and 2.89. The last 2 years weren't phenomenal for him, but normally a fine spot starter type.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. And for $1 million, you take that risk for sure.
I'm with you. I agree.
So Walter says Carolina is losing players left and right. That seems they're all over the place. I'm hearing that they're in on Sean Walker as a defenseman, which makes sense.
Carolina is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So because they got to fill some holes because they've got some. And yeah, they're losing players. And Mitch is on the way out too, apparently.
I would think so. We have a Stefan tweet seeing the AAV on a lot of the deals today. Isles really can't compete on offers. As mentioned earlier, it's likely via trade if they are going to bolster the club. Not breaking news from Stefan, but just, again, saw something from the beat, wanted to toss it up.
Yeah, and it's going back to managing all of our expectations. We all need it. I said the same thing. I had FOMO going into 12 o'clock, so an hour and 15 minutes ago. I was feeling a lot of FOMO. But then when you sit down and you think about it, you're like, well, do we want to give $8 million to Steven Stamkos? No. Do we have $8 million to give to Steven Stamkos? No, as well. But if we did, do we want to do that? That just doesn't seem like something we should have done, which is good because we didn't. Yeah.
It seems like the consensus today, which I feel like this is every free agency period, is that a lot of these deals are not great. Like that the AAVs are high. And I even saw a tweet too where it was like the best GMs threw their phone in the water or something like that for free agency.
Yeah, well, even Lou Lamoriello has said that a few times. There isn't a contract out there that wasn't too long or too much money.
Yeah.
I've never signed a player for not enough money or not enough term. I'm saying it backwards, but you all get where I'm going.
Correct.
That's just what happens, especially in free agency. You're going to overpay. Although I don't feel like we're seeing too many massive, like wild overpays. If anything, we're seeing some really wonky ass trades. Again, going back to the Chychrun trade. What the heck Ottawa was doing there, I have no idea. That's really the one big kind of head scratcher. But there's nothing else there that's horrendous. A lot of them make a lot of sense. It wouldn't make a lot of sense for us.
No, I don't think they would. What about John tosses up? Would you be interested in Skinner, say 2x4? I could be way off on the term and length. I guess twofold. One, would you be in on him? And two, what do you think he gets in free agency?
I wouldn't necessarily be on him. Just because we've got one of those. Although if we move Anders Lee to free up some money, then maybe go after Jeff Skinner as a third line player. Although he doesn't play good defense.
No, he's horrendous defensively.
So like that could be a problem. I'd rather someone who doesn't score a lot, but is good defensively. Like give me Zach Parise, please. I'll take Zach Parise all day, any day.
Too bad it's over.
Yeah. I wouldn't be running to sign Jeff Skinner. Now I'm not going to be mad if they do, because maybe they're seeing something I don't. But it wouldn't leave a good taste in my mouth if we sign Jeff Skinner to anything really.
Yeah, I would say no. David Pagnotta just tweeted about this, where he said multiple teams in the mix for Skinner, including the Oilers. No deal decision yet.
Yeah, like teams have got to take a risk on throwing a guy up top and just putting him in a more offensive situation. Fine, which we can maybe do, right? But it just doesn't seem like we need to be taking risks. Whereas you got the Edmonton Oilers who can do that because they've definitely got a guy who can throw 100%, 100 points up 100 assists even, and Jeff Skinner can score. So like maybe that works in their favor. But for us, we don't have that kind of guy. With all due respect to Matt Barzal and Bo Horvat, they're not 100-point players in and of themselves, independent of whoever's on their lineup. So that's where I worry here for the Islanders. But again, we're not in on these players. So I think we're going to be fine.
What about this one? It'd be nice if we could get contracts done with Romanov and Dobson today.
Yeah, that would be dope to see, like locking up the future a little bit. So some context, if you're wondering, they're not due deals now. Like they're not RFAs just yet. But as Walter's pointing out, you can start extending them now. Their contracts end at the end of next year. And so the window to re-sign them is open as of today. So perhaps we can get the paperwork and just have that done and not have to worry about it going into next year. Although they are RFAs, so we still hold control of their contracts. But like Walter is pointing out here, it would be nice to just see that done. A piece of business done going forward would ease a lot of tensions, I think.
I think so too. Although I want to pull up, not really although, but I wanted to pull this up from Gross, and it's from Andrew Gross. It's from a little while ago, but looking at the UFAs, the Islanders have Aho, Appleby, Bortuzzo, Clutter, Kuhlman, Ledoux, Martin, Pinho, Riley, Koivula, Salo, all these guys. It's not like they've really lost anyone that you were hoping they would retain either. They haven't lost anyone, actually. Like Clutterbuck, it's not like Cal Clutterbuck and Matt Martin have gotten new deals.
Yeah.
Or Aho or any of them.
Well, the only one is Robin Salo.
Oh, where'd Salo go?
He signed for a team in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
Right. So like gone. It's not like gone to another NHL team, like just gone. I expect the same from Otto Koivula. I expect him to sign for a team in Sweden or Finland, something like that. Maybe even Russia, although I doubt that. I don't see a lot of people running to Russia right now.
Sorry, it's stupid, but the tweet made me laugh. From great Isles Twitter follow, Tyler Gilden says Nashville's offseason is really hawk to a great start.
That's good. Good job. That's pretty funny. I appreciate that very much. So, yeah, it seems like things are now slowing down.
Yeah,
to a steady pace. Like the last one, Chandler Stevenson. What the hell?
Chandler Stevenson got one. Whoa, 7 years, 6.25. That deserves a breaking news.
Breaking news.
7 years, $6.25 million for Chandler Stevenson. He had 51 points and 16 goals this past year. 65 the year before and 64 in 2022. He is he 30? Yes, he just turned 30 in April.
He's a 30-year-old. They gave him 7 years.
At 6.25 is a lot too.
They must really like something there, but man, I worry about that for them because like his underlying numbers are probably good, but he played in Vegas, man, and there's a reason that he didn't do anything really outside of 21-22. I imagine if you look at his ice time, it probably jumped up. Hockey ref.
I would, yeah. Stevenson's ice time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in Vegas. Yes, in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he goes up from playing in Washington 11 minutes and 50 seconds the year he got traded to 15 minutes the year he got traded to Vegas. Still only 19 points. And then he goes and plays 18 minutes. Still not a ton. 35 points, 51 games. Not bad. And then last 2 years ago, 19 minutes and 20 seconds. Like he jumped up in terms of ice time. And yeah, he's starting to put up points. Well, like guess who he's playing with, man? I don't like that deal at all. 7 years, 65. Holy cow.
No, I don't like that at all. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Couldn't have Jeff Skinner's too young for Lou.
Oh no, come on.
He's starting to go a little bit younger, right? Alex Romanov was a guy we picked up, Bo Horvat afterwards. So a 23-year-old, 28-year-old. He's trending younger. We'll see if that keeps up.
I don't know. Ash, friend of the show, just had a tweet saying, "I'm usually very pro player getting his bag, but good Lord, what is happening out there? These deals are freaking bonkers."
Yeah, now it's starting to get pretty nuts. I remember how he said like 5 minutes ago that
Yeah.
we're not seeing a lot of money being thrown
Well,
around.
there's one. There's your one where you go, "Oh no."
Yeah, then Chandler Stevenson happens. Although the more I think about it, right, like think back to the deals Boston made for Lindholm, 7x7.5, or 7.5, or I think it's 7 years for $7.75 million per year. And then they gave a defenseman. Who was the defenseman that they signed in Boston at the beginning of the window?
Lindholm.
Well, no, that's that's for the center.
Oh, the guy from Colorado.
Jersey? No. That is why guess, and I can bring it up right here. Zadorov.
Yeah, there
6 years by $5 million. And you're like, what? Thank you, Connor. Connor filled in the gap for us right there. Yes, Zadorov. Wow. Ooh, Walter is cooking here. Maybe Shane Wright is available in a trade.
You think so?
Well, they're loading up, and they don't seem to be too keen on bringing him in right away, which I would do. I'm not running to sign Shane Wright, but
He's only
he's
7 points in 16 games, 5 goals.
Right. I had a pretty damn good year for Coachella, 47 points, 59 games, over a point per game in the playoffs for them. And like Seattle is loading up some of the contracts that they're signing. We just talked about it, right? They just signed what's his face, Chandler Stevenson, for 6.25 at 30 years old.
That's crazy.
What the hell are they doing? But they still have
news.
Another big one, Mitch.
Oh no.
Martin Jones to Boston.
Okay. Not the Martin Jones I was thinking of.
Max Jones. I'm sorry, Max Jones. My bad.
Okay. Great. Good job, Boston.
2016 draft pick. He had 15 points last year.
How many years they give him? 7?
Does not say yet.
Apparently they're tossing out money. But yeah, so like Seattle has $10 million worth of cap space.
Breaking news.
We actually have not a signing, but we have something Islanders related we could talk about. Rumblings about Anthony Duclair and the Islanders. Nothing confirmed yet. That can't be it. If it's Anthony Duclair, that cannot be like it.
I hope not. Now I'm really crapping on Anthony Duclair, and I probably shouldn't. He's 28. He's not super old. He had 42 points in 73 games this year. Most of that coming with Tampa, where he had 15 and 17. He looked pretty good. Only played 14 and a half minutes per game for Tampa. So like not given a ton of ice time, but did quite a bit with that little bit of ice time. Okay, what do you think about that? How are you feeling?
Lukewarm. Here's a look at his numbers. Last year, 42 points in 73 games. Couple of years ago, had 31 goals with Florida, had 9 in just 20 games in 2023. As I said, my initial reaction still remains the same. If they were to do a move like that, that can't be it. If the big offseason addition is Anthony Duclair.
Yeah. And like, I don't want to crap on it to be like, this is an awful deal. Because you look at his NHL edge. I don't know if I can share my screen. Can I do that?
Do you have a present on your side?
I do.
All right, do it. Hit it. And then I could edit.
Share this screen here.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
So we're looking at his NHL Edge page here. So these aren't like underlying numbers in terms of Corsi or any garbage like that. Like garbage, I love Corsi. But you look at his top skating speed, 93rd percentile. This is regular season, so it's not playoffs. 93rd percentile. Speed burst, 89th percentile. You know, he doesn't skate a whole lot, but he's not getting a whole lot of ice time either, so that kind of makes up for it. Everything looks good. The only thing that you're seeing not a whole lot of is offensive zone time, which at even strength, which isn't that bad of a thing when you think about it. Sure, he's not getting a ton of even strength time, but he's doing quite a bit offensively with not very much even strength time. So like 83rd percentile for goals as well. Like it's not an awful deal. or it wouldn't be. He's not an awful player to bring in. I don't want to crap on him as a player. It's just
he's speedy.
Yeah, I want more. I wanted more than that, but maybe it works out. And Patrick Roy likes him, right? I'm pretty sure has he not played under Patrick Roy?
Yes, he did in juniors, if I'm not mistaken.
And
I think Quebec Ramparts. That's where he was from, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Duclair, elite prospects. Bring that up because I imagine his numbers for Patrick Roy are going to be pretty darn good. Yeah. 66 points in 63 games, 50, 55, 99, and 59 in his final year in the QMJHL. Like Patrick Roy seems, and he was a 50 goal scorer that year. Patrick Roy seems to know how to get something out of him. So maybe this is a Patrick Roy player. So I'm still not like, yes, but there's something to be positive about if that happens.
Can they, what if it's like a Duclair signing and a trade that brings in Shane Pinto?
I would be ecstatic.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, it can't be just that. It can't be only Duclair.
Like, if it is, I'll still be pleased because we did something. And maybe that little bit of something changes a lot because we mentioned that with Kyle McLean, right? Just bringing in Kyle McLean, said that on the podcast, patreon.com/uptheturnpike, podcast twice a week. Plus the Discord, I'm sure is going off right now. Don't have it open because we're trying to focus on this right now. Bringing in Duclair, specifically if the deal is a good one, maybe this changes a lot because one little move can change a whole lot. We'll see.
Good question from Walter. I don't know. Does Duclair still not have an agent?
I imagine he does. Let's check out Puckpedia because I know they carry that kind of information. Anthony Duclair. Does he have an agent? Where they change things around?
Two minor things while you're pulling that up. Garnet Hathaway stays in Philly 2-year at $2.4 million extension.
Okay.
And then Ryan Lomberg is finalizing a deal with the Flames.
Okay. So nothing too crazy there.
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't show that he has one, but maybe I'm just not looking at the right place. Current contract. It doesn't say signing agent Anthony Duclair. It seems like he's still representing himself.
Okay.
Which, okay. He was only making $3 million last year. So do you think you can give him 4? Like that could be a steal.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
By the way, this cap friendly tweet is making the rounds, which we will pull up. Please hold. Okay. New York Islanders and Anaheim Ducks are the only teams yet to sign a player today.
Makes sense. But like some of these teams are signing random player first name, random player last name to one by one, and that counts as signing someone.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily saying it's a terrible thing by looking at these contracts that have been getting tossed around. And
as we know, Lou Lamoriello may have signed someone. We just don't know about it just yet. So that's a possibility. Give me 1 minute. I just got to run. Give me 1 second here.
Yes, absolutely. So gonna do a quick refresh on the old Twitter app right now. Ryan Lomberg deal. We'll pull that up on the screen while Mitch is on the move. 2 years at $2 million, 2x2. This past year, we'll pull up his numbers for what he did. 7 points in 75 games. Woof. 20 in 2023. I don't like that deal at all. As you could see in the comments, neither does the people in the comments. That is not a great deal. Oh, I don't like that at all, actually. Interesting. Nick says, is it just me or is it weird that neither New York teams have made any moves? Yeah, the Rangers are pretty quiet as well. I think they signed like a depth piece for like a $1 million deal, but you know, as Mitch said, that was kind of a random one, not really a whole lot of major action. And The Rangers are usually more active in free agency, and they've hit as well. Anyone signed Henrique? I don't believe anyone signed Adam Henrique, which would be the Lou connection and an older player. No one has signed Adam Henrique. His numbers from this past year, he had 51 points in 82 games, 24 goals. Year prior had 38 in 62. Any interest, Mitch, in Adam Henrique?
Not really. It's one of those like bottom 6 guys, which if we need, look, how should I say this? I want movement at the top of the top end of the roster. And if that means that we have to move away from some players in the middle 6 and then we have holes, then fine. But like, I'm not, my appetite is low. Are you kind of on the same page there?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to turn 35 this year in February in season, you know, that's a tough one to sell me on.
As a 40-year-old, it hurts my back here. He's 35. Old as dirt.
I'm sorry to say that, but I mean, makes you feel any better? It's not. But I'm 29, so I'd be getting dunked on if I got a 7-year deal right now.
True. That's true. I like what Nick is saying. I'm not sure if you looked at it, but maybe the Rangers left a bad taste in NHL players' mouths with what they did to Gaudreau and what they're doing to Trouba.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, no, we're trading you no matter what. Give us your list. You're our captain, leadership winner of the NHL, and they're like, nah, get the hell out. I hope that leaves a lot of bad taste in a lot of players' mouths. They don't want to go to New York. Please and thank you.
Yeah, that'd be. By the way, Ryan while you're gone, we got the number on Lumberg. 2 years, $2 million.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I wouldn't do that.
No,
I wouldn't do that. But fine, you get to go to Calgary. Great, awesome. Is anything going on Isles Twitter here? I like what Connor's saying too. Clutterbuck and Martin. That is.
Yeah, it's time. It's time.
Yeah, it is. So glad that that's probably happening. Again, we don't know for sure. Lou's had the conversations with them. They've had their conversations with Lou per Lou Lamoriello. I would imagine that's like they both shook hands, like it is done. And I think that's good for them too. Like they get to leave on, I don't know, like some sort of high, like especially for Cal. You get to end what could very well be your career in the NHL healthy. I know that probably leaves a taste like I could probably do more, but yeah, you're right. That is rare for him.
It is rare. It is rare. And Matt Martin, he said at the end of the year that he wanted to continue to play, but I just don't see him getting a contract anywhere else.
Yeah, no, I don't see it either.
This is a great tweet. Hold on. This is a great tweet. Barry Trotz is hiding cap space where his neck used to be.
I like that even Barry himself is adding to that, right? Like during the draft, he's saying that this place is awkward for me because, as you know, I don't have a neck. So looking up is really hard.
So funny.
Oh, what a funny guy. I wish he was our GM.
I miss Barry. I wish him nothing but the best in his life forever and always.
Yeah. That's not me like crapping all over Lou, but like I like what Barry Trotz is doing in Nashville. He's being aggressive. Maybe he's being a little bit too aggressive, but I like what he's doing.
Nick asks, what type of contract do you think Duclair is looking for? I'd give him 3 years at 2 to 3 million AAV. What are your thoughts? I think he would get more than that. I think it would be like 4 million, like 3 by 4 million, something along those lines.
Yeah, because his previous one was a 3-year deal. He was making $3 million on that cap. According to Puckpedia, his value is $9 million. There's no way he's getting $9 million.
You gotta update the servers.
Yeah, I'm sure this is all based on underlying numbers, but like you gotta, that can't be his valuation. There's no way he's getting 9, but he's gonna get more than the 3. I'm looking 4 to 5, 3 years. I like where you're going with the 3 years here, Nick. You can't be like, here's a $7 million deal.
No, please.
But knowing Lou, That's probably exactly what's going to happen. 7 years at like $4 million, which is going to be great in terms of cap dealing.
But
right? Like,
I just hate the idea of a 7-year deal for a guy like him.
yeah.
3 to 3 ideal, 5 is the absolute most, and that is uncomfy. 3 or 4 is better for me.
Yeah, but we're gonna get 7 with all the trade protection. Guaranteed.
Don't say that. Come on.
Yeah, look, say Lou will give him 7 years, 2.5 with all the trade protection.
Well, now if it's 2.5, I get to hang on a second. 2.5. That's a little different.
Yeah. I think he gets 4. We probably give him like 6 years at $4 million. All the trade protection again, because that's what Lou does. Although he's got no agent, so maybe not.
Maybe he takes a bad deal. Maybe Lou bends him over the barrel.
Maybe those trade clauses are meaningless. They are and they aren't. Like, we're currently stuck with players that we can't move because of said trade clauses.
It feels that way. At least you could always get people to waive them, but still.
Yeah, like we got Andrew Ladd to do that, but you can't tell Peugeot, I'm not going to play you.
No, God, no. That
Like,
doesn't work.
As much as he's not that great anymore, he's still good enough that he deserves to play, and you can't just, I'm not going to play you just for the fact that I won't. You can't really do that. I guess Lou will do what the hell he wants to do. But I like that at least someone is looking at these going like, I don't really care that much about the trade protection. I like that. I'm not that confident in myself.
No.
So Dumba apparently is going to Dallas.
There you go.
2 years, 375.
Breaking news.
Josh Brown is going to the Edmonton Oilers, 3 years at $1 million.
Great. Yeah, we're starting to slim pickings.
I know, but which is not good for us here.
We still have Duclair isn't signed, and as links to the Islanders, Oliver Shillington still hasn't been signed either, as far as I know.
Shane Pinto hasn't been traded to a team not named the New York Islanders yet.
There you go. So let's look up. Is anything? Nothing's happening with Shillington, as far as I know. But like, there's got to be some teams in on Oliver Shillington. There's just a really good player there. The points may not be like outstanding, but you're looking at a top 4 defenseman in Oliver Shillington. I think someone could make a play for him. Ideally, the Islanders, in my opinion, because I think that's a upgrade over Mike Riley. As much as I like Mike Riley.
Yeah, it could be, and we haven't seen Mike Riley sign anywhere either. So
that's right. Nick says, I feel like the Hurricanes are going to take a big step back this year. Didn't have the best draft, lost a ton of key players to free agency, and the players they signed were not good deals. Yeah, he's got a point there, right?
Maybe it's possible. I hope they do. It'd be better for the Islanders if they do.
Yeah, I'd much rather meet this Carolina Hurricanes team in the playoffs. Although like this Carolina team still has Martin Necas on the team, who apparently they're looking to move. So he's going to be gone at some point. They still have good players, but the players they did bring in, not really kind of like not really moving the needle too forward, in my opinion. But we'll see. That you got Martinuk, which was a good buy at 3.05. Who else did they sign? No one of Tyson Yost, right? They brought him in at 7.75.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, they did.
Brendan Lemieux. Oh God, I don't want to see that guy.
No thanks.
So yeah, they didn't really do a whole lot, but they're losing a lot. So yeah, Nick, I don't know if we're going to be too scared or scared of these Carolina Hurricanes going forward.
Sorry. Funny. Just seeing the 0 projected WAR. Josh Brown signed 3/1, and Edmonton is a depth defenseman. Yeah,
which makes sense. When you're signing him to a $1 million deal, you're just hoping that he can play a couple of minutes when you need him to. Being 29, the Islanders need a rebuild. At some point they will. But I don't think now is the time to be doing a rebuild, just because we have too many long-term deals that you're not going to be able to get rid of.
No, not yet. It's
coming. What, like 4 years and rebuild?
yeah, but like some sort of retool. Though we've been talking retool for a while too.
Yeah. Mr. Jamson, P.O. Joseph, Riley, Brandstrom, or Shillington for our bottom pair. Should we put them in order?
Okay, yeah, you go first.
I would say Shillington, Riley, Brandstrom, and a distant fourth, P.O. Joseph is where I would go.
Okay.
What do you think?
Probably the same, although I might put Riley 1 because he's already proven that he can work here. For the others, there's some risk about bringing them in because we haven't seen him here. Wait.
Yeah.
Breaking news!
Mike Riley resigned? Who has
done? The Islanders.
Oh, of course, naturally.
It's
President
done.
General Manager Lou Lamoriello announced today that the team assigned defenseman Mike Riley to a 1-year contract.
Okay, good. This was
good.
Good. Like that was so like pathetic. Oh, good. Yes. This is a good deal. Well, we'll see what like the actual money is. But this is a 1-year deal, apparently. How long, or sorry, not how long, how much remains to be seen. I can't imagine it's anything more than 1.5, right?
I'm gonna say $2 million or less, but 1.5, 125 will be my official prediction. I hope we get the official number in the next 15 minutes here while we're live.
Yeah. So ideal, and I'm sure someone will break the actual cap implications because everyone's around that right now. I expect it's going to be something low. Oh, Duclair signed? Did he sign for the Islanders, guys? I'm just seeing that in the chats right now.
Yes.
It's done. 4-year contract for Anthony Duclair.
Okay, so that is 2 for the New York Islanders. Wow. All right. So Anthony Duclair is your newest New York Islander. I'm glad that it's a 4-year deal and not like a 7-year deal like you were talking about.
Yes.
Going to reiterate again, this cannot be the only move.
Right. But it's not the move that I was like gunning for. I'm excited to see what it brings. I will be as positive as I can be with this. A way to see what the money is on Duclair. I'm sure we will find out soon what the money is there, but like I don't expect it's going to be a bank breaker. No. I'm saying $4 million. What do you think?
425. Yeah.
Which fits. Like we have the money for that without having to move anyone out.
Yeah.
Which, puts us under a little bit of pressure to move said money out, but we're not under any necessity to do so right now. If this could work, if a top line of Anthony Duclair, Matt Barzal, and Bo Horvat could work, would be great if it could. Remains to be seen if it will. But this is kind of exciting. Like the FOMO is dissipated, right?
A little bit, yeah. Okay, so Pagnana tweeted it. I'll sign Anthony Duclair to a 4-year deal, which obviously the team put that out, so that's not new.
No. So we're waiting to see.
Oh, I nailed it. I freaking nailed it. Mike Riley, 1.25 for 1 year.
Okay.
On the effing money, baby.
We've been cooking with these throughout this offseason, right? In terms of valuation. Good job by us.
Yes.
And you specifically, you're right on it, like to the penny, basically.
To the penny. Nailed it, baby. Absolutely nailed it. I love that deal for Mike Riley. I think he was a excellent addition the Islanders made last year. He can quarterback the second power play. He'll be on the third pair. I like it. And again, not too long in length or cost, right? Like I would have given him a 2-year deal, but bringing him back on a 1-year deal is perfectly fine by me.
Yeah, no, 1-year deal is all you really. He was on waivers, right? Like this was a waiver wire pickup. You don't pick up someone from waivers, and he did relatively well, but he didn't light the Islanders on fire. He was a great third pair defenseman. You don't break the bank for third pair defenseman.
Well, don't say that too loud.
Everyone like, Scott Mayfield, Mitch, you remember that? Yes, but we didn't like that deal to begin with, and still don't. So yeah, I love what Walter is saying here. Nice stopgap until George is ready. Yes. Isaiah George, third pair left-handed defenseman. Yes, please. I friggin' love Isaiah George. Oh my God, he's such a good player.
I do too. I love this. O'Connor says Pinto next. Sign me up for that. I just want to tweet out the link again, or retweet the link and say that we're discussing the Islander signings now. Get it up. We're up to 58 people in here.
58.
Guys, if you're not subscribed, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the Patreon as well. Discussing the Riley and Duclair signings now. Bang.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
I'm like Riley, very, very happy with. Very happy with Mike Riley. 1 year, 1.25 million. I thought was a really good fit. I really want to wait and to see the money on Duclair.
Yes. You're right. The money is going to be the big thing here. He was making $3 million last year. We both think it should be around $4 million. Maybe it gets as high as 5, but I don't imagine. Alon, same thing. Although he's saying 4 million would be horrendous. I don't necessarily agree with that. Unless you think that Duclair is going to completely fall off, which is possible, right? But they seem to disagree. The Islanders seem to believe that this is going to be a good deal, and he's going to be that. I don't think he's going to be a point per game player, but could be a 60-point player for them. He did have that like short stint in Tampa where he was a point per game.
Duclair?
Yeah. Or at least close to it. I think he had 15 and 17 for Tampa right this year. Let me just bring it up here. He had 15 and 17 for Tampa during the regular season. So I can't pronounce that. Shiflipton 21. Lou finally woke up. Yes. Lou's been cooking all day, baby. But I'm not super happy, but I'm not mad. The FOMO is gone. There is a bit of excitement going on here because there's someone new. We get a new
breaking news.
There's a trade, not Islanders though, but
okay.
Riley Smith is a New York Ranger.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
cool.
That's kind of my take on it too.
We don't know what the AAV is yet on Duclair. But once we find out, we're going to keep looking to make sure we can find it. If you guys see it first, let us know. Y'all don't have this going at the same time. What's up, Grant Gustin? Am I Grant Gustin? I don't know who Grant Gustin is. That's someone I'm supposed to know.
I don't know. Dano is a Jets guy. Grant Gustin. Let's see.
Does he look like me? He must be a dink.
I would take that. No, I would take that as a compliment.
Good. Jimmy Corky, is a league buyout more likely? I don't think so. Lou's going to do his damnedest not to have that happen.
There's also the buyout window closed already too.
Well, yeah, the buyout window did close. If we do we have qualified, but if any of our players go through arbitration, we can open a new buyout window.
They can. Do you think someone goes to arbitration?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
Oh, I look like the Flash? Oh, hell yeah, I'll take that.
I would absolutely take that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dwayne. You're now my new favorite person. Sorry, Matt, you've been replaced. So Tim Ward says Duclair will help. Good speed. Yeah, we brought that up earlier. I'll share my page again in a second here when I bring it up.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring up we did it earlier, his NHL Edge page, to look at what he brings in terms of not the underlying stats, but the underlying. That's a cute kid there, Tim, by the way. Yes. Super cute kid. Duclair, is he still listed here? He is. Give me one quick second. Present. Share screen. Yes, I don't need to show tips every time. NHL Edge page. Share. So this is Anthony Duclair's Edge page here. These are his. My French came out. These are his numbers in terms of skating, the underlying skating numbers that we don't usually see. His top skating speed on average during the regular season, 23.3, which was the 93rd percentile, top 93. Only 7% of skaters were better than him or faster. Speed burst in the 89th percentile. Look at how many more 20 plus per hour speed bursts he had than anyone else. Skating distance, not a whole lot, but remember he was playing like 14 minutes per game for Tampa. So that's probably why it's below 50. If that's going to go up for the Islanders. Shot speed is pretty quick. Shots on goal, not really high, but again, low ice time. Shooting percentage, 97th percentiles. Conversion rate, pretty goddamn good. Goals, 83rd. This is all 5-on-5. Oh, no, sorry. No, this isn't. These are all strength for all skaters, forward specifically. And then offensive zone time is low for even strength. But remember this, he only played an average of 13 minutes per year or per game for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So the fact that he had all of those really good offensive numbers, again, nearly a point per game for Tampa, but didn't spend a lot of time in the offensive zone. Yes, he spent most of the year with San Jose, but again, San Jose was a hot pile of garbage. This should be relatively encouraging.
I would think so.
Yeah. So like I wasn't all in on Duclair. I'm still not totally all in, but I'm going to go for it. I'm on board now, and let's see if it works.
Yeah, I don't know. Riley Smith to the Rangers for a 2nd and 5th round pick, by the way.
So for next year, 2025, because I was going to say that they probably got more for Duclair than Ottawa got for Chychrun.
For Riley Smith, you mean?
Sorry, yes. Sorry, I said Duclair, didn't I?
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
It doesn't say 2025.
Okay.
But I'm going to assume yes.
Yeah, unless they specify the year, you would assume it's nothing more than this year. Walter says Riley Smith stinks. Yeah, I remember him in the playoffs. He stinks. He does.
But he wasn't
really
good. This past year. He wasn't very good.
Yeah. Okay, Connor says, I feel like more moves should come because we are close to the cap, assuming the Duclair deal is around $4 million. Totally agree. Are they going to start Tsiplikov on the top line, says Walter? No.
I'm going to guess the 4th line.
Yeah. Alan, Doombud 375 AAV is a lot. Yeah. Totally agree with that. That seems like a lot. For those listening, we didn't make that signing.
No.
The Dallas did?
I believe so. They've been flying in quickly. So
yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? We're going on to 2 hours here.
Yes, Dallas Stars.
Okay. BN29, we need Vladdy, Shane, Gosses-Behere, and Henrique and Pinto. That's a lot.
I thought BN29 wanted a rebuild. He signed him 5 free agents.
Yeah, Pinto, please, of the other ones, but I'll take Gosses-Behere as a number 6 or 5 lefty, and then Mike Riley's your 7th guy type of thing. Or I guess number 5 lefty, if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyways. Funny thing, all moves have terms, but ours. Asks Alon. Sorry.
Alan.
Yeah, right? The Islanders aren't the ones dishing out crazy amounts of term here.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying the terms. I think he means the terms of the deal, like
right.
The AAV, which we have. Riley's you have at 125, but we don't have Anthony Duclair's.
No, not yet. I keep refreshing on Duclair AAV in Twitter, and I'm not.
I haven't seen anything yet, other than just like guesses.
Right. We'll see that soon enough. Yeah, Walter, why buy out Sutter if you're going to use that money on Dumba? Makes no sense.
I agree. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Because they're basically 1-for-1 swaps. Unless you think that Dumba can be better, maybe. And Sutter isn't going to get better just because he's older. But Sutter was still pretty good and effective, specifically for his price point.
I would say so.
So that one confuses me too. But thankfully, it's not our team. So screw them.
Yeah, that's not something that you have to worry about for us.
That's right. All right, so we're going on 2 hours. What do you want to do here? Because we were saying we were only going to stay on until 2 p.m. But now that we've got some things going on, do we stay until we find out the Duclair AAV?
Yeah, let's try that at least. Just because that in a perfect world that'd be nice. If we don't, how long do you want to give it? And if we don't hear anything by X time,
let's give it like another 15 minutes, right? Like,
okay, I'm good with that.
let's take it 15 minutes at a time. If we feel in 15 minutes, like, well, let's just wait a little bit longer, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand why we haven't found anything on Duclair yet. But maybe it's because these insiders are having a whole, they're just like, everything's coming in at once, and they're having a hard time keeping up. Migo wants another hour. I don't think I could take another hour away from the family on Canada Day, my dude.
Yeah, I gotta eventually get some Jets work in here too. But
yeah. So Connor, I'm feeling happy with today so far. How are you feeling? And like, if you can give it a grade out of, let's say 5, just to not have it
1 to 5
here. Yeah,
5 being the best, 1 being the least.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, I'm about a 2.75 right now, and I think that's going to fluctuate depending on the AAV.
Although John brings up a good point, don't want to release the AV because he's working on a trade.
Maybe, but you have to, like, it's got to be clear at some point. Like, it's clear the Islanders signed him. They clearly filed that contract with the with registry, and whether the Islanders want to keep that to themselves or not, the insiders aren't going to give a hoot, and because it's going to come across their desk. Because if it's going to central registry, it has to come through the entire term.
Someone's going to get it, by the way. So someone will tweet it out.
Peace. I hope that's actually a picture of John Smith between Lane Lambert and Doug Huda there, or John McLean, sorry. Because that's a pretty dope ass picture right there. It just seems like he's part of the team.
It would be really cool.
So Migio, I believe, is at a 3.5 or 3 out of 5, just kind of like you. I'm close to that. I just really want to see the AAV, and I think that tells me where we're going here. I don't want to see anything more than 4. Although, if it's like 4 or 5, I'm not going to lose my goddamn mind. Even if it's 5, I'm not going to lose my mind. It's just if it gets to like the 5, 6 more, that's when it's all right. This is too much.
My prediction was 4.25. If it's a 4, 5 or higher, I would be upset.
Yeah.
Which I know that sounds negligible, but you got to draw your line at some point. And John Smith says it is, by the way.
Okay, good. That's friggin' dope, John. Like that needs to be your profile picture for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's an incredible picture, by the way.
Unless you then get one with Patrick Roy, then this goes in the garbage.
Not naturally. Yeah.
So keep buying those seats, John, just so you can get on the TV, and hopefully they zoom in even more next time.
It's a road game, right? Because they're in white.
Oh yeah.
I wonder where that is.
Fill in the blanks, John. Fill in the blanks.
Hard to tell, but that picture, they have the 50th anniversary patch, so that's got to be from not this year, the year before.
Are we getting 3? It's 3.5 according to the AAV.
According to
Elliot Friedman.
Oh,
the AAV is $3.5 million.
Okay,
I'm at a 4. I'm at a 4 out of 5.
Okay, Sorry, I did this wrong. I gotta add this to the stage. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, $3.5 million for 4 years. I like that a lot better now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. They gave him a $500,000 raise. Yes, he didn't play well in San Jose, but give me a player who did. But the second he went to Tampa, played well, has played well under Patrick Roy. He's got some of the underlying things in terms of the skating ability that we're looking for. This seems like a really, really good deal. I'm at a 4 here, a 4 to 5. And I had some severe FOMO going into this.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 3 and not. I think the value on these deals are fine on both Mike Riley and Anthony Duclair. I just don't want. It's incomplete for me. I still think they need another forward. So I'm not gonna go higher than a 3 right now. Fair.
Yeah, because this still worries me. Like, this is a low AAV. It worries me that we're keeping everyone else, like Lee staying, Peugeot staying. So that worries me a bit going forward. It's not that I don't like those players. It's we need to move some money here. But you can't complain. 4 years, $3.5 million for a guy who typically plays well.
Well, also, so one, they could go over by 10%, right? So $8 million. Right. Also, Shane Pinto's an RFA, so he doesn't have a contract yet. So that wouldn't impact their cap necessarily. Yeah, I mean, it will eventually, because obviously, but like at immediate moment doesn't, you know.
That's right. So, like, if we're getting the 58.31 goal Anthony Duclair when he was in Florida that one season, this could be a hell of a steal. This could be a steal of a deal. 4 years, $3.5 million. It's just if you don't, right?
Well, just as the issue is if you go over, you lose trade leverage, which is true, of course. But for an RFA, they don't have, like, it's not like he has a contract currently.
That's right.
That is. But for someone else, yes. But if you're trading for someone's RFA rights, I feel like that you don't give that leverage back. Agree or disagree on that?
I agree. So we'll see how this goes going forward. I'm just trying to find the JFresh card, see what he says about the Islanders signing Anthony Duclair, because I know how I feel. As anyone else, we like to see what other people think about what we've done.
Sure.
But I can't see anything just yet. Maybe he was also waiting for the Islanders to come in on a AAV. So,
we have how about Dom? You want to see Dom's?
Yeah, what does Dom say? Is it going to be dumb?
One of the better deals of the day.
Yes.
Really like this fit and contract for Duclair, who should add some necessary speed and scoring to the Islanders' top six.
Yeah, I remember the one podcast that we did like weeks, maybe not weeks ago, but months ago. Someone brought up Duclair, and I was like, I don't think he's very fast. And then on the show, I was like, let's look up the NHL Edge, and I had to eat my goddamn words live in front of all of our patrons. P.S. patreon.com/uptheturnpike for podcasts twice a week, where you get to tell us what you want us to talk about every week as well. By the way,
this is a good. Can I just pull this up from Walter by a second? At worst, he's a very good third line player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because at 3.5, that's, you could live with a guy making 3 and change on your third line.
Yes.
But I would imagine that he's going to be in the top 6. I would think currently on the top line.
There's the potential for a lot of added value, just like with Pierre Engvall, right? If these guys play to their potential, there's the possibility for a lot of extra value here. Again, we talked about it earlier when I was looking at the Puckpedia page. They said the value for Anthony Duclair was 9.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Oh,
what?
Wait.
Oh, good, bad.
Okay. No, it's Elliot Friedman is throwing Colby Armstrong under the bus because he's saying that Lou Lamoriello doesn't like when the contracts come out with the AAV, as they always do. And so Friedman is just saying, like, I'm here to tell Lou that it was Colby Armstrong who did it. That's who put it out there. So,
okay. Okay, you scared me for a second.
Yeah, no. I heard Elliot Friedman talking about Islanders, and so I wanted to hear what else was coming out there. But it was nothing too big. Yeah. Kuhn says, can't complain. You don't know Islanders fans.
That's for damn sure.
Fair. We are a fickle bunch. Even myself, I'm not like, oh, I'm super pro Duclair. I'm getting more excited the more I think about it, because I want to get excited. I want these guys to work out. I want the moves that Lou Lamoriello do hit not only well, but to their potential, their full potential. And so I'm hoping he's one of those guys that can do that, because if it goes well, this could be a really, really good signing. Maybe one of the better signings.
Yeah, it has. There's upside here, and if he goes to just being like a 40-point player at that price point is okay.
Yeah. Okay, so adding something here from J Fresh, just to add more context outside of just us, and talking in blue and orange glasses here. So he's saying Duclair signed, speedy rushing winger, which is great for us. Creates a strong rate and scores on them too. Downsides are poor defense. Look at that even strength defense, 4%. Not great on the power play apparently this year. And 5 goals in 39 career playoff games. I don't give a hoot about that. I don't care about playoffs. I really don't. Anything can happen there. Just get me to the playoffs. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Not great defensively, but they needed a offensive forward. That's
finishing 91%.
That's good. I mean, Barzal's going to set him up for chances.
Yeah. And he's fast, so he can keep up. At the price point, there's a possibility here for a ton of found value.
I think so too.
So you end the day on what? A 4 out of 5?
No, I'm still sticking with the 3.
You're still at a 3. Okay, I'm at a 4. Full on 4. I'm higher on this now the more I think about it. But maybe that's me just trying to be super posi core.
Something else has to give because as Stefan says here, let me add this to the stage. After signing Riley and Duclair, Islanders have 1.06 in available cap space. That's before the RFAs sign qualifying offers.
Right.
So, like, I think we see something give at some point.
Maybe I'm not going to count on it because already we've seen 2 free agent signings. Like Lou doesn't add a whole lot of pieces at once outside of year number 1 when he had to. But Stefan's right here. There's a couple of RFAs that need to be signed that are part of the team. Simon Holmstrom, Oliver Wahlstrom right there. That's going to be close to $1 million each, right? If they sign their qualifying offers, tools. Where are we here in terms of calculators? Qualifying offer calculator, all teams, New York Islanders. So for Simon Holmstrom, his qualifying offer has to be 874. That's the minimum for Simon Holmstrom. For Oliver Wahlstrom, it's gonna be, where is it? 917.
Okay.
Minimum. That's their if they sign their qualifying offer. And then, of course, we haven't talked about Rustin Ishikov or Tice Thompson or Dennis Cholowski. Neither of those 3, I believe, start in the NHL or affect the NHL cap at any point. But those 2 other guys will. And Wally, I believe, has to be on a one-way deal, right?
I would think so. I would think yes.
Maybe not. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But we've got 1.6. Both of those guys are going to take nearly $1 million. You're running out of room here. Something's got to give.
Something has to give. That's for sure. So ready to call it here. We got the AAV in. We kept you away from the fam for a little bit while longer. My last thing that I want to toss out a prediction at the end here.
Yes.
I think by the next time we record a show, so we're not doing a Wednesday show this week. Sunday is our next show. So we have 6 days.
That's right.
I think JG Pageau is going to be traded.
I think you might be right.
But just because we don't have another big show on the Patreon until Sunday doesn't mean that there's not more content on the Patreon. You have my Friday 6-pack is coming out. So like a 5-6 minute video is going to be coming out on Friday, and we will have more videos on the YouTube channel as well.
Absolutely. So good day for the Islanders so far, which is all we could have asked for. It didn't start out very promising, but it ended pretty well.
All right, that is going to do it for us on this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the live stream for Free Agency Frenzy. I'm Matt. He's Mitch. We'll catch you next time.